Game, team, you're up.
Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at old school classic matchups versus the modern matches of today. So right here we've got McEnroe coming right in off Connor's serve. I believe that was a first serve he was hitting. And Matt comes right in, and we're also going to be taking a look at Labor Cup highlights 2021. So this was McEnroe Connors 84. Great day, and what you're going to notice is just two completely opposite styles. Where McEnroe was coming in on everything but the kitchen sink. Connors a very aggressive, play close to the line baseliner, hit the ball super flat. And we're going to see here a really nice exchange. And what I'm noticing is, lots of people say, well, the game today is so much faster. It's faster in a different way. Like look at, trust me, that happened really quick to Connors right there. If you were playing against Mac, this would have happened to you in a flash. I don't care what age you are, how long you've been playing tennis. So, they use speeds in different ways. I just think it's different. McEnroe here hitting a deep return and then getting into a baseline rally here with Connors, and Connors moving Mac around. Mac gets the advantage here with a nice deep cross-court ball. Now you can see McEnroe start to cheat back towards the baseline, and he's going to keep working his way further and further into the court as he hits these. See, now here he's taking the ball right off the bounce, and he's got an angle to it. Okay, so he sees Connors struggling to get there and realizes that when Connors is in this area right here, he's going to want to recover quickly, anticipating Mac going down the line. And so what we're going to see right here is McEnroe's really going to then cheat right in off this ball. Look where he's taking this ball. Let me just clear this out. Watch where Mac takes this ball. He's in there. It's pretty much right as the ball is bouncing. You can see that he's taking it right off using all Connor's power. And that was basically McEnroe's biggest strength. That's how McEnroe used power. He used your power and kind of used his racket as a trampoline. He literally used to string his rackets, and this with gut, not the polys that they're playing with today. He would string his racket at like 40 pounds and just slingshot your shot back at you. Let me know what you guys think as you're watching this video. Do you prefer the old school classic style play where you're going to see a lot of different matchups, a lot of different just strokes? The strokes were definitely different back then as a whole, but it seemed like everybody kind of had their own individual style to their strokes. Connors and McEnroe hit the ball very differently, even though they don't play with as much spin as you have today, and they hit the ball more flat. You can see their technique is really different. Speaking of different technique, take a look at McEnroe's service motion. And, I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this before or since, the way he would turn his back, but super effective. And right here on the video, I don't think this actually plays the video sound when I'm analyzing it. They're saying here that McEnroe had been to the net 132 times. So you're probably never going to see that again in the game of men's tennis too, is one player coming to the net 132 times in a match. Great lob there by Connors. So here comes Mac with a second serve. Notice how even on second serves, McEnroe is coming to the net. Again, you don't see that much on the men's tour. Connors, big fist pump. That's the other thing that people complain about, is there's maybe not as much personality in the game today. Do you agree or disagree with that? Do you like the personalities better back in the day, or do you like today's personalities better? I think today's sport, a little kinder, gentler tour. A lot more heated rivalries back then, where you kind of got the feeling that these two people didn't even like each other that much. Because of the flat hitting, I think you'd find more unforced errors. There's Mac again coming to the net. When he had that first serve going, it was really easy for him to put 1-2 combinations together. Look at that service ace. So the serve plus one play for McEnroe wasn't a serve and a forehand. It was a serve and a volley. So the serve plus one existed back then as well. Another thing you're going to notice is look how the players back then would stand pretty much right on the baseline to return serve. Didn't really give themselves much time to get the ball back in play. Today, you're going to see players stand further back. McEnroe, that continental grip, could spray that forehand. So you can see him kind of spraying the forehand, taking off on him because of that continental grip. But the magic was he could take all your pace with the continental grip, didn't have to change grips, and would get to the net. So that's another difference of more players back then use the continental grip. Fired that one up the line. Pretty poor approach shot by Connors. But you're seeing definitely more. Look at that. Look at that angle right there. Again, people will say, "Oh, the game today, they are so much better." But how many players today could take a serve right here, way out wide, and then just hit that angle? I mean, who today is look where that thing ends up. Look where that ball ends up going. Boom. Who's chasing that ball down even today? I don't think anybody is. So just interesting, different styles. Out wide serve by Connors there, using that lefty serve. Didn't have the biggest serve, but he had really good ground strokes to back it up. Okay, here's Max serving for the match. Taking that, again, just putting that ball away. So McEnroe always coming into the net. Relentless. As I watch this back, it makes you realize how relentless his game was, coming to the net. And you'd see a lot more style clashes like this back in the day. Look at that. And again, here's another thing too. It's like Mac has good volley technique, but it's his own unique style. There's nothing here that you wouldn't say not to do, except for it just looks different. McEnroe's coming, serving, volleying. He's got his racket out in front. Well, maybe a little behind him, actually. Wow. He's got it behind him. Keeps the racket still. I mean, look at that. And then puts it, right on the line behind Connors. So, you just don't see. Everybody's kind of today got their technique the same. Everybody's learning like the same style of volley. It's a great volley, but where have you ever seen a volley like that except for McEnroe? So I think that maybe is the appeal of old school tennis is the styles just so much different. The strokes much more personalized to the individual and the way they played. Is that better or worse? I think the game today more scientific. There's a proven way to hit the ball faster with more spin, so everybody kind of has the same type stroke. There's Johnny Mac winning this match. He'd go on the next day to beat Lendl, who I consider to look more modern of what you'd see today. Beat Lendl in 3 sets. One of Mac's best years ever on tour. So now what we're going to do is Max definitely his best. He was 84-3 that year. One of the best years ever, I should say, on the Pro Tour ever played. Now what we're going to do is we're going to compare this. We're going to take a look at points from the Laver Cup, and so how the game has changed. You guys let me know what style you think you play what you enjoy watching more. Definitely want to get your comments. We did a video on doubles, which I'll link after this video, classic versus modern doubles. I think this is going to be fun for us to do a lot of these type videos. Okay, so now we've got Laver Cup, and what you're going to notice is that the fundamentals are just more solid. Everybody's kind of got like the same preparations, the same look of spin, the same shape on the ball. You know, seeing that ball lift and spin up and over the net. See that they're in their open stance hitting. Great approach shot and passing shot. Now here's one thing that was also interesting watching, which I don't know if it's good or bad. Is this an observation? When I watch the Laver Cup highlights, we're going to go through this. I notice almost every time someone takes the offense and tries to come to the net, they end up losing. It's almost a disadvantage to be the person who strikes first coming to the net unless you hit it such a great shot where the person can't even, you know, barely get a racket on it and you get an easy volley. But if somebody could just even get the racket on it, I mean, look at this stretch here. Look at this. There's no way, as great an athlete, I mean, did Connors ever hit a great stretch pass shot? Absolutely. But, I mean, it's very routine. This is very normal these days. See someone stretch. I mean, it's still a great shot. Don't get me wrong. It's still a highlight. But this is not unusual. See someone stretch and just pound a winner down the line. Now, a couple of things about this. First of all, they hit much harder today. Second of all, they don't cover the net near as well. I mean, look where Schwartzman is after taking the offense. Somehow he's still back here. It's like he made no progress. In fact, we're going to have to watch this over again. I'm surprised he's still so far back there. Look how much line he's leaving open. Okay, I had an Australian coach, and my Australian coach, if I got passed down the line after I was in a position like Schwartzman, again, let me just got to get my arrow in there correctly. But if I got passed down the line, my coach would be super mad at me. Now, of course, this shot's so great. I'm not saying that I would have been able to make this shot or anything even when I was younger, but I'm just pointing out, look how he is not covering the line. He's clearly not covering the line, and there's tons of space for Rublev to pull that off. So watch where this approach shot is hit. See, this again is a little bit of a difference if we're taking a look at, you know, when it comes to playing the net. So it's interesting. Schwartzman hits his approach shot here, but he runs, his body's going there. You know, if McEnroe hit the same approach shot, if he hit the ball here, his body would also be going there. In fact, I don't understand why players are not coached. Why would he be coached to be running there or not coached at all? It's really kind of weird to me. I mean, you can clearly see that Schwartzman just went from this spot to this spot. Very, very odd. Very odd. And maybe this is a reason, besides the just blistering pace, why players get past so easy. But what a shot. All right, this is doubles, but it's more of a singles video. But again, in doubles, look what happened. We're still seeing baseline rallies like a singles match, but then a blistering pass. All right, here we go. Felix all day Auger. Now again, look, the fundamentals across the board are just so solid. Coming to the net, boom, again. Interesting. It's like, and I didn't even pick this up before I made this video. So, all right, not a bad shot to come in on. We got Berrettini's over here. All right, and we're going to see our man Felix all day Auger taking it there. Decent shot to come in on. I don't think it was the greatest approach shot, but that's the situation he's in. He's got a lot of room to make him run, but notice where he starts to go. He starts to move to the middle. Now, I mean, it makes sense because he is kind of off the court in the doubles, but there's so much more of his momentum. Let me look how far he starts to run to the middle. It's like these players are coached to like, hey, get to the midline as fast as possible on your down the line approach shots. Makes no sense. So all his momentum's going that way. And again, the down the line passing shot, which is the easiest for these players, is wide open. Why do I say it's the easiest? Because when you're on the run, when you're running, are you going to be late or early for the ball? You're going to tend to be more late for the ball. Now, I think really Berrettini he could have gone anywhere, but again, it's easier to go down the line, and yet the passing shot is wide open down the line. Very, very interesting. Okay, so let's continue to watch some points and have some fun. Another point, great serve by Berrettini. Now he's following it in. Again, now, interesting. So this video was not even going to be about this, guys. But this turned into how to approach the net again. So he's approaching down the line. Watches how even on that hit, he's repositioned. On his hit, he's repositioned his body and his momentum to go towards the middle of the court. So he starts. Look at how far Felix has got to run now at this point. Okay, and look how much Berrettini is going right to the middle. This is really odd to me because this is not very advanced coaching, and these players are just they're unbelievable players. I'm surprised that the coaching isn't more about, hey, if you hit down the line, cover the line hard. Again, so we see Felix hitting this shot. Now watch this. This is a highlight volley by Berrettini. I mean, look at that. He's stretching, he's diving, he's making it look amazing. But really, this point right here should not even been a highlight. If Berrettini is standing here, he's literally just holding his racket out and tapping the ball cross court instead of making this great diving volley. So pretty interesting stuff. All right, serve. Big return. Berrettini pretty good at the chip. There's some chips going on. The pros again today. They have all this? They have the same shots just with the very similar technique. Everybody basically looks to me. The technique is all within the same window. It all kind of looks very similar. They all have their individual style too, but it is more of a similar look. The way they set up, the way their ball is shaped, their preparation, very similar. I would say better. They have better technique for sure across the board than players back, old school players. I think what's happened today is you're like, hey, if you have any chance of being a pro, this is scientifically the best way to hit a tennis ball. It's been proven, so everybody's got to look like that. Again, here we go. We see another point where I noticed the more I watch these points, it was more of an advantage to be the counterpuncher off someone's approach shot. I think Berrettini, out of all these highlights, was the only one, which we watched a couple of points ago, which he made it kind of hard on himself. He was the only one to win the point when he was the one coming forward. So you can see here, Berrettini, this is a tough little shot too, by the way. So this is definitely advantage Felix because you got your opponent off the court here. So now you got to come in, but he is the first one approaching. So now Felix counterattacks with a nice little angle. Berrettini's got to pick one off his shoestrings. Doesn't do enough with it, and see ya! Okay, just an interesting observation here that the first person to the net usually loses, where I would say in the 80s and the 90s, especially the 80s, first one to the, see, again, okay? Watch how many people come to the net and get smoked. And notice, they're getting smoked on this video, in particular, mostly down the line, where you should absolutely not get past. You should not be getting past down the line. I'm getting a little emotional here as a coach. But okay, so again, a great approach shot. Has the opponent off the court, stretching. Let's watch. So, you got Johnny Mack here on the side. He couldn't hit the forehand as big as Kyrgios, but if he hit this forehand, if he hits the ball this way, then he's also going to be following that ball in the same path. His body's going to follow the ball. Instead, we're going to see a disconnect from the ball. Ball there, body moving this way to the middle. This is weird. This is obviously somehow being coached, or just ignored. Because look at that. Look where he hit. Look at the gap. How can you not get passed down the line? Okay, so maybe these passing shots, when you really slow the play down, are not as amazing as they look in real time. They're actually pretty routine if somebody's just leaving the line wide open. Big serve by Isner, staying back. Rally. Boom. Great ground strokes, even by the big 6'9" monster. Again, you're seeing very similar setup, very similar technique, very similar shape on the ball. They give themselves more time behind the baseline, so a little further off the baseline. Great rally. Look at that shot by Isner. Oh! Bone-crushing forehand. Way to go, Johnny. All right. These two had amazing rallies at the Laver Cup. Again, lots of cross-court exchanges. They definitely ripped the ball more today. And there's a lot more safety. You can see the ball going up and down. You can see the ball going up and down as much with Johnny Mac and Connors, which would make the ball fly a little more, make your shot go out. So the rallies, once players are able to get the serve back, okay, once they're able to get the serve back like that, look at Jack Sock. Once they're able to get the serve back, you're going to see the rallies go. You know, serve plus one is definitely part of the game. On average, rallies are 4 balls or less, but once they get into the rallies tend to be longer. They miss less because are we going to give Tsitsipas some credit here? Let's take a look at what Tsitsipas did here. Maybe the only one to follow the rules of tennis. He comes here, he chips up the line, and look what he does. He doesn't. Well, he kind of still runs more to the middle than I think he should, but he's still covering his line pretty good. And that was a terrible passing shot by Kyrgios, who's out of shape and doesn't seem to care about tennis anymore. Big serve. Forehand. You can see the shape on the ball. Good defense. Are you kidding me? Again. Okay. So I think we're seeing the strength of the game today is ground strokes, and spin and control and technique. And the weakness we're seeing is players. And I used to say, go, man, tennis players today are, given a bad rap. A lot of old school players I'm fortunate to talk like Gigi Fernandez and Patrick McEnroe and Mark Woodford and players who really played the net great. They'd say, well, the players today don't know how to come to the net. Now, again, whose fault is that though? Is it the players or is it the coaches? Because all these players who used to know how to come to the net, how come they can't coach how to come to the net? I mean, look where Isner is here. Why in the world is he not taking this ball up the line, making his opponent then have to run and then cover the line? No, instead what he does is he's off the court and somehow he decides a very weak inside-out forehand is going to get the job done. And then again, every time when I was playing, my approach shot game was always hit a shot where you can cover your line. Hit an approach shot, cover your line. Very, very simple. Very simple to do. I would think that the pros would be much better at this, but watching this video, not. And this video was not even going to be about that. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. Old school single strategy versus new school single strategy and technique and all that stuff. Classic versus modern. What do you like better? Comment below. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. What's something else I should analyze? And, if you did like this video, if you learned anything or you like it, definitely give this video a like if you want to see more videos like this. If you don't want to miss my next video, you got to subscribe. That's the only way you don't miss it, baby. You get notified. Ding that notification bell, and we'll see you guys on the next video.